Today we're going to talk about more percents, and we're going to be talking about finding the percent in the whole. So a little while ago we learned how to find the part when we were talking about percent of a whole. Now we're going to work on finding the other missing variable. So if you remember, there are 4 pieces to every percent problem. There's the percent, which in the percent proportion we put over 100. 100 is our second value. And then in the percent proportion, that's equal to part over whole. So there are 4 parts: percent, 100, part, and whole. Since 100 is always known, this number we always know, that leaves 3 other numbers. You will be given any 2 of these and need to be able to solve for the one that is missing. So you'll be given the percent in whole, the percent in part, or the part in the whole, and be asked to find that missing point. And so some key points here are to follow directions. If the directions state to use a specific method, then you must use that method and show all of your work is what this should say. A proportion is also an equation. This means you must have an equal sign in your proportion when you write it. So if you open up your foldable, you'll see finding the percent. Method number 1 is the percent proportion. Method number 2 is the decimal method. So the percent proportion says part over whole equals percent over 100. And remember that your hint here is using this method will give you an answer that is already in percent form. Just add the percent sign. So it will give you the percent as a whole number. So 25 is what percent of 40? Remember that part is associated with is, whole is associated with of, so is over of equals percent over 100. 25 is, that's my part. What percent? P over 100, we don't know. Of 40, of is my whole, so 40 is my whole here. I write my proportion using an equal sign. I can use cross products, and I get 40p is equal to 25 times 100, which is 2,500. And then to solve to isolate the variable, I divide both sides by 40. So I'm going to use my calculator. 2,500 divided by 40. And P equals 62 5/10, and then we can just add our percent sign because it's given to us as our percent. Now we can also use the decimal method. Your answer will be a decimal. Remember to convert it back to a percent to answer the question. So we take the decimal times the whole, and that equals the part. So 25 is means equals what percent of 40? Of means multiply, so 25 means equals what percent? We don't know. W times 40. The inverse of multiplying by 40 is dividing by 40, so I have to do it to both sides. And when I do 25 divided by 40, I get a decimal 0 and 625 thousandths equals W. And so I take this decimal and I move it 2 places to the right, and I get 62 5/10%. So you have 2 different methods to pick from here. We've got the percent proportion and we've got the decimal method. Both ways have pros and cons. The percent proportion, we have to set up 2 fractions that are equal to one another and divide, but then when we get our percent, it's already written as a percentage and we just have to add the percent sign. With the decimal method, using words sometimes is a little bit quicker, but then we have to remember at the end to convert our decimal to a percentage by moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So today we're going to be working again on finding the percent and finding the whole using 2 different methods, the percent proportion and the decimal method.